and welcome to the second edition of the Reverse Pivot podcast, formerly known as Violations and Insults. Welcome, Steve McLeod.
Thank you, Bruce, and it's always a pleasure to be with you on a beautiful winter morning here in the South City Square studio.
Crisp. The last few days you could freeze the nuts off a tractor. Huh? It's been very chilly. Hey, let's take care of some business work before I hand it over to you to introduce our very special guest.
Sure.
We've been very fortunate. Mick Downer, Shane Froling. I just don't want to steal your thunder, but first, our sponsors to Brian Curl Basketball. Thank you, Brian Curl. They got the Taiwan Tour trials coming up. They've got the Academy wrapping up for the second term. They've got the Indigenous 3-on-3 tournament. They got so many things happening. Doing great things for basketball here in throughout Australia. Shit. Okay. Also to Chris Weir of FIT Education, the RTO on the go. You guys looking to get your diplomas or certificates in exercise physiology, and a host of other things, FIT Education is the place to be. To our good friend Ryan Stolberg and his silent partner Benny Thompson. Silent. Shh. Don't say a word. And Big Dog Sports. Big shortage of basketball. Every podcast we have a little touch on how short we are on facilities.
Well, the Queensland Basketball have been putting out per region of Queensland and what they have done their research based on how many courts you're supposed to have per population. We're something like 270 courts in Queensland short.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, they're getting on it.
I mean, they're doing something, 100%. It's that, I can't imagine the Queensland government building 270 courts, but let's find where we need them most, and let's make sure that when we build them, they're not one court, they're 10 courts that, that can be used not only, ideally we'd want them to be just basketball, but, if you have to use them for other things to fill the court and justify it, no problem.
Great. Okay, well, anyway, thank you, Ryan, and Big Dog Sports. And now, how about introducing our special guest?
Well, Shane Froling. Well, I would consider Froles and his family basketball royalty.
Yes.
We're talking the Gaze family, we're talking the Daltons, we're talking the Purchasers even, and so I'm super excited to have Froles here with us today. Our producer normally gets cross at us when we use people's nicknames, not their full names. So this is Shane Froling. Now, when you go do a bit of research on Froles, so first of all, welcome, Froles.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's great that you're in Brisbane, Vegas today. Mate, juniors, you did everything. Let's just talk a bit about, let's just talk about where you are living. So people like to know, hey, what are the people doing with their life now? Just a summary on that for us.
So basically I've been in Townsville now for 30 years.
30 years?
Longer than I lived in Melbourne.
You're not mayor yet?
Not mayor yet, no, but I haven't lost my Victorian citizenship. So, but I haven't got my Queensland one yet, I'm told.
But does that mean you go for the Maroons in the state of origin?
I go for whoever wins, because it's not one that I really follow.
Okay.
You're a Collingwood boy, Froles, right?
Yeah, Collingwood High School, or Education Centre as it was known when we were there.
Education Centre. Could go to the centre and get educated.
Yes.
Am I right? A little bit of a rough neighbourhood growing up?
Very rough. So lived in the Fitzroy high-rise flats, which was a fantastic location, very close to the city. But you got 4 blocks of 200 flats with all sorts of people in there. And there were lots of adventures, escaping situations from there. Americans might call them projects, minus the guns.
So how did Barry Barnes, you started playing in Collingwood, how did you get to Nuttawattie?
Well, it sort of goes back a little bit before that.
Okay.
I actually started playing basketball with the Auburn Tigers, who are the Melbourne Tigers, as a junior. And the only reason that happened was Andrew Gaze's grandmother ran the canteen.
Sure.
My grandmother worked with Andrew Gaze's grandmother in the canteen. And Gran would get in her little green car, pick up Grandma Gaze, and they'd go and run the canteen, and I'd go to the stadium, and Andrew would be shooting thousands of shots every day, and I'd be sitting behind the counter eating all the chocolate frogs. And going, mate, what are you doing? There's chocolate frogs back here. But that's where it started. I played a year for the Tigers. Decided I didn't like the game, and we were moving all around the place. We ended up in Fitzroy, and then I started playing in Collingwood because Colin Cadee wanted Grant Cadee to have a team to play with.
Oh, okay.
So that became the link with Barry Barnes. So in Fitzroy,
So he was coaching...
Colin Cadee
Okay.
was our junior coach, and he would bring in special guests such as Brendan Joyce to come and toughen us up, and so those people linked us with Barry Barnes.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
So Choco would have fitted in really nicely in that.
Perfect. And they're the people I look back. My father left when I was 5.
Yeah.
And we were ratbacks.
So how many in the family?
I have a brother who has an interesting life and a sister. I also have a half brother here in Brisbane.
Okay.
But before that, even before basketball, before Dad left, we travelled and lived in Perth.
Okay.
So my sister was actually born in Perth, and then some business dealings went wrong, so we went back to Melbourne. And I think the business chased him, so he left again and came to the Gold Coast. So he moved up to the Gold Coast and became Dick Jones rather than Dick Froling. And so that's when we split. When he came to the Gold Coast, we were there. But life got interesting after that. Without going into too much detail, the Froling side of the family is fantastic, always have been. Little known that my uncle ran Frankston basketball.
Right.
And my cousins Narelle and Kylie both played for Victoria, and we were not interrelated with basketball. Actually met them at basketball after years of being away.
Well, mate, the royalty just keeps growing.
So so that's sort of where all that began. But living in the flats was interesting. There was one time where I was brought out of a bedroom with a shotgun to my head and told we were all going to be blown away. There was 2 or 3 times where...
How old were you?
5. There were 2 or 3 times where knife was held at our throat or thrown at us and told to shut up for the night while boyfriends were there. There was a lot of sex, drugs, rock and roll and murder in our family. So I had a family member who shot a man in the head and got away with it.
Good God.
So it was an interesting time growing up.
Fox on this, because you get...
Yeah,
Is it a cold case?
No, it was...
Because Foxy will be all over it,
Yeah.
the true crime fighter.
No, it was dealt with. We had the best lawyer in Melbourne, Frank Galbelli.
Right.
Get him off. And so it was a different time growing up, and moving into Fitzroy and then finding basketball through, especially Colin Cadee,
Right.
was the point that my life changed.
But I was going to... I picked up on your first game. You said, hey, I didn't like basketball the first time you played it. Did I hear you say that before?
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
then,
well, I played a whole season, and Ken Watson was my coach.
I was just going to ask, was it Kenny?
Yeah. So Ken Watson would actually, when we first moved to the flats, pick me up in his little red car and take me to training. And again, I'd be watching Andrew just kill it, and I couldn't score a bucket, and nothing changed over my NBL years. But I just went, this is not really fun, and the kids in my team it was pretty loose, and I just stopped.
right.
And I went to Fitzroy, and then Colin Cadee spotted me, and as he was building a team for his son Grant, I became one of those guys, and we're a bunch of rabble that did things that were pretty special under Colin Cadee.
Yeah, and mate, like knowing how you played the game, which was pretty tough. I massive respect for you because you sit screens, you dive on the loose ball, you do all the hard shit. Your youth has certainly given you that. Would you agree?
No doubt.
And then, but now, what years and who were your teammates when you were at the Institute of Sport?
So basically from Collingwood, we went to Nunawading. And Nunawading, that's where Ian Stacker, Colin Donovan,
Yep.
and Barry Barnes were sort of looking after the junior programs. And as a player in the NBL, you had to coach down. So the Allen Blacks all coached down, the Ian Stackers coached down, and they were our coaches coming through the ranks. I guess Colin pushing me to Barry, and then Barry really put a good word in for me at the AIS, and he knew my situation at home. Home wasn't good.
Yeah.
And so he really pushed me to that.
So you were there, what, would have been 85,
85, 86. So
was that that?
he came in the second year and was living next door to me. And the minute he put...
That's where they learn to dance on bars.
Oh, they learned.
Well, hang on. The minute he put Raspberry Beret Prince on, that's when he lost me. I'm sorry.
That head swaying to the beat.
Oh, my goodness.
So I went to the AIS under Pat Hunt.
You know, one of Lyndon's pet things that he does, he chews without any gum.
Right.
Yeah, and whistles without making any noise. Have you ever noticed that about
I'm not. I just used to tell him to shut up.
Yeah.
Now, what other players that we would all know were there at that time? Were you there with Lucas?
Yeah, so I had a bit of a split year. We had older guys in there, David Graham, Trevor Torrance, Peter Sexton, David Ingham. Actually, David had just left, Matthew Buck.
I remember him, yeah.
And then the year that they started preparing us for the World Championships is when it got a bit busier. Marty Clark,
Right.
Luke Longley,
Vlahov?
Vlahoff. No, Vlahoff came in the year after.
Okay.
Warwick Giddy. So great people.
Yeah.
Great people. And
Great.
for me, all I'd ever known was run, avoid, get out of home. This person was after you, that was happening. And now I move into the AIS.
Right.
And I've got 3 meals a day. I don't have to go and, knock off clothes. You're getting uniforms. Dimmy's was my favourite shop to shop at without money in Richmond. Because, you get a doona to sleep in. There's no money at home, no food. I lived off $1 for about 2 or 3 years, and I'd have boils and styles as a kid.
Oh, God.
So a little known fact also was I got shipped out of Melbourne because we had some family trouble. And I played for Lang Park under Peter Pendle.
Mate,
1 year.
I have got that here on my notes, 100% to prove it, and I've put an 19... Here it is.
I went to Yeronga High School.
Yeah, I'm going, when the hell did you come to Brisbane? They're now making sense.
I had to clear out of Melbourne because we had someone pursuing us.
1981, ? Look, God, what the hell?
And I played 1 year at Lang Park Lions.
There you go.
And went back to Melbourne this was before the AIS. So,
Okay.
yes.
All right.
So travelled and stories.
So NBL teams, Spectres.
Spectres. I went back to Barry Barnes with the Eastside Spectres.
Yeah, and then after Spectres, Hobart.
Gorge took over.
Okay.
That would have been
Barry
88?
about that time.
Yeah, 88 was Brian's first year with the Spectres.
And we were all very close to moving to Westside Saints with Colin Cadee because he went over to Westside Saints, and Bruce, Choco, Vinny Cotoggio, Vince Hinchin.
Oh,
Grant Cadee.
Was Parky in that mob?
Parky might
And
have been
Simon?
just after, yeah.
Yeah.
So they all went to Saints, and we were about to go, and Gorge came to us and said, look, I'm going to develop you guys. I need you guys. And I think myself, Darren Lucas and Steve Lennard stayed with the Spectres, and the Gorgian era began.
Yes.
Right.
So from there, down
Hobart.
to Tassie Devils with Tom Maher,
Yeah.
which then evolved into Kel Bruton.
Yeah.
And
Was he
then,
with you there?
yes,
Yeah.
yep, he was. And Justin Cass.
Well, I know Grizzy was always been close with Justin.
Yeah.
And
Great guys. Fantastic.
and he dancing on the bars at Hobart.
So I worked in that bar. I actually ended up working there.
As a dancer?
As a pub dancer.
There might have been a night where a gentleman had hit his girlfriend or wife in the bar, so I escorted him outside. So they asked if I wanted a job there, and basically not as a bouncer, but as a assistant manager
Okay. And entertainer.
And that's where I did that for a fair while in Hobart, as well as playing basketball, but it never affected my training or
Now,
games.
when Cal was the head coach, was Billy Tomlinson the assistant?
He was. Great man. He was
Great man. I just spoke to him this. I'm going to
Absolutely
drop
champion.
his name because, guy, high IQ.
Yeah.
Every time I speak to him, I learn a heap.
Well,
Yes.
he's coming on, right, at some stage here.
Well, yeah. I'm going to be, if everything goes to plan, we're supposed to be speaking to Boy Gorge tomorrow.
Oh,
Brian
wow.
Gorgian, and he said that he'd get us on before he goes to Vegas. But sometimes it's, his schedule is.
He's got a busy world. But
He really does.
Let's reverse pivot back to.
I love it.
Let's reverse pivot back to Foles. So we're at Hobart. It's amazing where Tassie is now, but that Hobart was that was a strong club initially, wasn't it? Why did that end up falling over?
I don't know the reasons why. I do know there was some sort of financial guy running stuff where things may have
gone missing.
I
disappeared.
remember he was a ranger. What was his name? The red-headed guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Get your hand out of the till, ranger.
So that may have happened. I'm not sure of the details. We as players weren't told.
Yeah.
But I'd left before that had happened.
And now you're at Boom Booms.
And then I was at the Bullets.
Yeah.
Yes. And did that for a couple of years and then went to Townsville. And the main gist of us, we were always going to come to Queensland at some point. And main reason being Jenny had followed me everywhere. And we were working our way up towards her family.
Can I just sing some praises for Jenny? She was a really good referee. I mean, obviously she played, right, through the juniors and whatnot.
Jenny has, if you read her resume, 4 WNBL championships as a player or coach.
Wow.
Queensland representation, Lady Bullets as well. She has refereed, coached and managed.
Should we just cancel this interview and get Jenny down?
Get her on the phone, mate.
Yeah, okay.
We'll do this in harmony.
She's refereed, coached and managed at WNBL level. She has been nominated. She's not nominated. She is in the Women's, not Hall of Fame, the
Wow.
other thing. So she's been very successful and
It happens to be
And
the
put up
mother
with
of
me.
the mother of 4 professional athletes,
Yeah.
and you're right, the 5th one she's put up with
Yeah.
Frols. Like she's seriously, she's angelic.
Okay. Are we ready to tie your playing career into a bow?
well, just before you talk about the great families, the Gazers, the Daltons. Like the Daltons having 3 Olympians.
Yeah.
Andrew and his cousins and brothers and
And his
heck,
dad,
with all the girls, the Gaze girls and that. But the one thing that we've got that we are proud of, we haven't achieved the Olympic stuff as of yet with our children and that, but Jenny and I met at the AIS. All 4 children went to the AIS.
Wow.
It's the first family to have all 6 immediate family members through the AIS.
Wow.
And then obviously all 4 playing, 6 playing in the
Well,
top
mate,
league. And
Yeah.
it's pretty
You
good.
know, there's still an opportunity, I think, amongst the 4 of them. The Olympics are not out of the bag. I mean, just my opinion. Like Sam, boy, he's pushing that envelope as you were talking about centres.
Yeah,
before.
we
We've
had a
all
little
done that.
conversation. I'd love to share this with our listeners about. I was thinking, who are our 5 best Australian, not import centers currently playing in the NBL? And why not introduce our guest? We do have a live studio audience here.
Yeah, he's ready.
Not now, honey, Mark Thompson.
Yeah.
You're ready. You can pipe in at any time on this. So we came down, in my opinion, Sam Froling is number 1.
I'm with Sam Froling, number 1.
And then I would go, did we agree? Or we were talking about this before. Is it Isaac Humphreys?
You
Well,
got Humphreys in
or
there.
Magnay.
I think
very well.
Magnay is
in the
I think
top 5.
Humphreys has come a long way, but I think Magnay at both ends has got a little bit more than Humphreys.
And then did we agree with Geordie Hunter?
Yes.
Yep.
Not
Absolutely.
really productive, but he, defensively he's damn near 7 feet, isn't he?
Yeah. I mean, he when Southeast Melbourne played well, he played well.
And then did we
They
say
need him.
our 5th? That would mean that Illawarra has 2 on the same team.
Albrecht.
Albrecht.
Yep.
Lachlan Albrecht,
Yep.
right?
And mate, is he looking like a chance he might get drafted?
there's a lot of talk and there's a lot of interest, and he's done very well in the summer league.
Yeah.
And he looks clumsy, but he's just so skilled at finding that basket and getting
how
boards.
beneficial is it for Sam and Lachlan to be going against each other every day?
Every day. It's fantastic.
What a great thing for both of them.
And one of my junior kids, Luca Yates, is a development player there, and he's getting exposed to that every day. And when Harry was thinking about making his comeback, Wollongong brought him into work in that environment every day, and that helped as well. So they had a cluster of bigs that were challenging each other every day.
And we're definitely going to talk about each one of your children, because they're, I mean, mate, you're just an overachieving family, but we've just about, so you tied it off your career at Townsville Crocodiles.
Started as the Townsville Suns.
That's right.
That's right.
Finished as the Crocodiles.
As the Crocodiles. And then moved into coaching with Ian Stacker there. So transition from playing to coaching.
So when we had to part ways, was it Mark Bragg at the helm, or was it
Mark Bragg
Stack?
and Dave Lindstrom.
Right.
So Mark Bragg and Dave Lindstrom.
I forgot that Dave Lindstrom coached up there. Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, we haven't brought his name up too much, but he's quite important in terms of NBL, in terms of the imports that he was involved in bringing out to this country at one stage. On the West Coast.
Are you thinking of Dr. David Atkins, or are you thinking of
Dave Lindstrom.
Lindstrom had a lot of the, not all played in the NBL, but that, like the Radcliffe era, Tribe, and all those guys knew Lindstrom, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
And
he
had
went
some-
to Lewis and Clark.
Right. He had some interesting ideas too.
No, he didn't. He went to Puget Sound.
Correct.
And then coached at Puget Sound. Played for Lindsay.
Yeah.
Lindsay Gaze. He was a very good player.
Okay.
He had some interesting ideas as a coach.
He did.
There was a time where two players were going to stand on the offensive end and not play any defence, and they were just going to outlet it and score. And that was the Melbourne Tigers Wollongong Hawks game, where the highest scoring game in NBL history.
It's a bit of UNLV.
Here's the thing I remember about Dave, and we were quite close. When I first went to Japan, Dave was with who Sean's with now. He was at Mitsubishi.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget, we had a practice game before the season, and Dave stayed in my place. We had an import named Stevie Thompson. Do you remember that name? Played at Syracuse.
No, I don't.
Powerful 6'2". He played way above the rim. Anyway, he had always come down to my place, would have a coffee and whatnot, and he came in, and there's Lindstrom walking around in his undies. So when we go to practice that afternoon, we had Howard Smith and Tom Hovas, currently the national men's coach, and we all drove together, and Stevie goes, Howard, I went into Bruce's flat, and there's Lindstrom butt naked, and the whole apartment smelled of ass. I thought, okay, we're having fun now, but so we're going to tie that playing into a bow. Can we get into your coaching, because you've been very successful as a coach? Starting with, I guess, well, why don't you tell us what was the ultimate achievement?
For me, I really enjoyed coaching the junior Australian stuff.
Yeah.
Being a development coach under Marty Clark. Right. And working with all those junior kids for a number of years, being a talent scout. And even today, if I see talent, I ring Marty. I saw a kid in Townsville, about 6'10" and under 14s. And I'm like, gosh, this kid's come to watch his brother.
Under 14?
And I've grabbed him and I've taken him outside, and the parents are like, who's this guy? And the coach, no, let him go. And I've gone through and given him some moves, and I picked up the phone to two people immediately. It was Marty Clark and Brian Gorgia. I go, Marty, you need to get this kid down the OAS. I know he can't attend. Get him there. Gorge I ring, and he's like, mate, I deal with the now, here and now, not the future. And that was Rocco Sikorsky.
Okay.
And you could tell he was going to be huge, and he could chew gum and walk at the same time. And I went, well, there's some tools there. And needless to say, Marty listens right to the point where I rang him 3 months ago. I said, I found this guy, 6'6", absolute beast, will run through a wall. And he's like, what's his name? I go, it's Shane Froling. I want to come back. He goes, you idiot. I was writing this down. And I've sent him kids like Rory Hawke, Luca Yates, and going even further back, Mitch Norton.
Yeah.
Our little club, we're lucky to have very good coaches in Claudia Brassard, myself, Jenny, and the number of Australian junior players we've produced has been phenomenal.
I mean, Townsville's been always super strong, but I know that your impact with the Townsville boys, I know you worked at the level below the NBL when it used to be called State League and all that sort of stuff. It's always been strong. Yeah. Why do you think? Is it? I mean, it's a
look. I go
rugby
back.
league's big up there.
I go back to the fundamentals of the game. I did the thing in the NBL, and that was fine. I guess I didn't fit the model of senior coaching, and I've proven that. I'm a bit outspoken, and when owners were calling us meat in sneakers, I'm like, well, I don't really need that. I'm above that. I can go and do something else. I've seen a lot of friends who coach there, and I say to all my players and coaches, I go, if you last 5 years in one spot, you've done very, very well.
Yeah, it's accurate.
The turnover rate is, so you've got to expect that coming into it. Now, am I prepared now after doing that as an athlete to do it as a coach for the rest of my life? No, I'm going to transition, and basketball is going to be my love, not my job.
Yeah.
And that's where I started coaching juniors. So it was lucky I got a job with the QAS, and myself and I think it was Murray Eldred down here.
Okay, yeah.
And I said, look, this is how we're going to run it. And we basically did the 5 camps a year in each region, and we would bus kids. We would get Mitch Norton's father to drive the bus, and I'd collect them in each town, and we'd sleep on the court. Boys on the court, girls on the mezzanine. There were showers, bring in a manager, cook food. Cheap, we did everything for under 30 grand, and we had 5 camps here. Now, you're bringing in people too who know the game. So bring Pat Hunt up, bring Marty Clark up, bring a Spanish coach into town that's in town up. You know, Colin Donovan becomes one of my development coaches, you know, Gorgian's right-hand man back in the day, Nunawading Spectres. And we do development with a heap of the northern boys, and then the southern boys are doing it down here. The model was fantastic.
Involved with BQ, overseeing that, and when we had Mick here, and he's right, you know, you're right on his heels.
Yeah.
I still have that, and I share that with my colleagues and my network. Your study tour to the States,
phenomenal.
France and Spain,
phenomenal.
The notes on that stuff, I still pull stuff out of that.
Spending a week with Coach K. Now, this is prior to me coaching this under-20 Queensland state team.
Yeah.
You know, you've done it with your boys and wiped the world out with the Jarways and
Jarway, Baines, we were loaded,
And then
you also
that had nothing to do
won
with
a gold medal.
The players been okay.
Well, our team.
Blood off the kid. You had a lot to do with it.
You
had Brock.
That's
Brock.
Well, this was the thing. When while I was a QAS coach, I wasn't allowed to coach a state team.
Yeah, it was great.
All right,
rules.
so they decided to kill the Northern QAS, and everyone had to come to Brisbane. I'm like, great, now I can coach a state team. So I get this under-20 state team, and I'm looking at it, I'm going, under-16s, no medal. North or south. Under-18s, no medal, north or south. Now, God love Big Joe. He had them boys dressed in boxing hoods and you know, all the gear. They looked great, but hadn't won anything.
For our listeners, that's Joe
Tsatsakian.
That's Armenian.
Yes.
Go on.
So I'm looking at these kids and I'm looking at the talent, and I'm like, how have they never medalled? So now I get the North and South together in the under-20s, and I go, right, these are the rules. Bigs, you will be attending 3 bigs, you're crashing the boards. You other guys are safety. We are full court pressure. We're running offenses. If you don't hit a man on a screen, you are a heat-seeking missile. That screen better happen because we want to cause the defence grief. The mentality of some of the guys. You know, I get Christian Selicic.
So who's in that team?
Well, Christian Selicic.
Yep.
Who are your other
Geordie
guards?
Page.
I love Geordie Page.
Brendan Tees.
Yep.
Todd Blanchfield.
Oh, yeah, nice.
Jeremy Hill.
Yeah.
Was he in there?
Now, Jeremy Hill, this is an interesting story. Is that the kid from Cairns that went
to Sydney Kings.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
All right, I've got
Am I not?
Brock Modem.
Brock Modem, yeah.
Nice.
Unbelievable. Geordie won MVP and did a great job, but Brock Modem was outstanding. If he were, in my mind, I thought he had it,
Yeah.
and Geordie stole it off him. 6'9" lefty who I've got bringing the ball up as a point guard because you've got Dellavedova pressuring the heck out of you. I'm like, well, we're not even going to deal with Dellavedova. Give it to Brock and let's see if their 6'9" centre can guard him bringing down launching threes or dunking on you.
Yeah.
You know, Matt Hodgson.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Matt
I
Hodgson.
that gave you some serious height.
Mitch.
Young.
Mitch Young.
Yeah, they got a
So,
squad.
I'm looking at this team and I'm sure I've missed. Another kid from Townsville, little Damon Hire.
Yeah.
I'm missing someone.
Oh, mate.
Well, we got the gist. You
Anyway,
had some
it
talent.
was a
but
damn good team. I don't know how
the
they
year
won.
previous, the same guys missed out. I mean, we struggled against zone.
Yep.
And this was because I was I think I was the one that hired you. Well, of course, you had to go through Graham Burns
Yes.
and the approval process
Yes.
of our board. Which, by the way, Graham's back. Just for all those who don't read, he's back as the acting interim general manager of Ipswich while
Okay.
they look for a new candidate. Could you possibly be interested in tunneling your way into Ipswich for an interview? Yeah, so, and then subsequent to you winning the gold medal, and I know how well you and Graham, because I was had to be a part of all that. I think PC won one, where I think they lost to the Global Academy, but because they didn't count, he won
They
it.
won the final.
And then I
remember
think
that.
Joel Kalu, did he come up and win one as well?
Yeah.
But the precedent was started with Shane.
Well, it was with your team, definitely. The thing with ours, and don't let me forget, there's a guy I've forgotten, Cam Bairstow.
Yeah, okay.
Now, you can't forget Cam Bairstow, you know, Chicago Bulls and another family.
The great
Another
family.
We really struggled to
It's
get
possible.
it because he wasn't in the NITC program.
Yeah,
And I kept going, Murray,
yeah.
come, mate.
And that kid would do whatever you told him.
Absolutely. Great competitor.
So basically with that team, it was, you know, Matt Hodgson can't catch a ball, all right? I want you to stand 12 feet from him and baseball throw basketballs at him until he can. And the coach was like, you may know him, Gordon Fawcett.
Sure.
Throw him at his head. I'm like, throw him as hard as you can at his head area, not at his head. He's like, I don't think I want to do that. I'm like, why not? He's like, I don't want to lose my blue card for throwing a ball. Yeah, I'm like, no, mate, you'll be fine. So things like that. Christian Selisic, I was saying, I'm a defender. Marty's got me down as a defender. I go, well, go and take a seat because you're no good to me. You need to be a scorer as well as a defender. He ends up being our third top scorer.
We have a lovely saying here, you know, because we love the game, but if you can't shoot, go play hockey.
Yeah.
Right? Because that's the end of the day. You've got to be able to score. Yeah, like there's someone who scores more than others, but everyone needs to be able to put down a shot, you know, yeah, and a skill that, I mean, I'm just sidetracking here, but free throw shooting at the moment.
Horrible.
And
Horrible.
What is
I'll get
going
to
on
that
in that
later.
space?
I'll get to that later too. But going back to this team, ensuring we had all the bases covered. You're responsible for this, you're responsible for this, the mentality. Oh, we lose to WA every year. Right, you're not ready to play. You can sit on the bench. I'm going to find the 5 guys who are going to destroy WA. So we go through that tournament. We beat Victoria with Ryan Brokoff, Dellavedova by 25. It doesn't even bother us. We destroy everyone else. I think WA ended up being our toughest game, and they weren't that good. We meet New South Wales in the grand final with Jason Cadee, who is averaging 34. Shane Harris-Tunks and a good squad. And my theory into that is I'm going to run Cadee off 6 screens every play in the first quarter. And I tell the guys, we might be down and someone else is going to get all the points, but I want his bell rung. So we run an early screen, a middle screen, a double baseline screen, reverse it, a double baseline screen.
He was working.
Now, Todd Blanchfield hit him one time and he levitated for a minute and then dropped to the floor. I'm like, Todd, you very naughty boy. But after that screen, Jason wanted nothing to do with the game. I think he scored like 14. We were down 2 in the first quarter, up 20 at half time. I didn't even coach in the second half. I just subbed. We won by 39. Now, that's a team that had never medalled in the grand final. Now, even the parents before the final, like, yay, we're going to get a silver medal. And I used the great, mate, silver's like kissing your sister. We're here to kiss the pretty girls.
all the time in Collingwood.
We're here to kiss the pretty girls. And we did, without trouble.
Yeah.
So that was that team, and that was pretty good. This is a group. I also told Big Joe, no fancy stuff, no, keep it calm, and they did a great job. We had
there's some
Dwight Hicks and his hot licks.
And,
who's been a guest on the show.
Yeah, so we had Dwight Hicks. We had, I had his name earlier. It's left my head. Assisted at the Gold Coast.
David Claxton.
Bald head, no, with Joey Wright. Gosh, how can I forget his name? Big, strong.
Is this a coach?
Yes, assistant coach.
Can't think of it.
It'll come back.
Yeah.
Anyway, those guys were fantastic. Joe had snuck off on the day of the final and got championship caps made. And with 2 minutes to go, he comes up and goes, Shane, I've done something. And I'm like, what have you done? And sure enough, I said, you're lucky I didn't know about that before, because they just needed, hey, this is how you play mentally. These are your roles. This is what you do. Geordie Page lines up 2 guys, 6'10", I'm going to dunk on them. You're getting a little too creative now. Brendan T's come and steady the ship.
Yep.
And it worked. It was magic.
Yeah.
And you get that sort of thing. Give them a bit of guidance. And even the Victorian coach says, we've never seen them play like that. We weren't worried about you guys. And there was arrogance in it too. Victoria were at one of our games filming in our huddle. And I told Mick Conlon, the other assistant coach, who I forgot, grab our scout book. And I threw it on the floor at their feet, and I said, "Take it. It's not going to help you." So they scurried off and didn't film anything else.
Boom shakalaka.
So anyway, that was a fun time, and it was just about giving those guys guidance.
Yeah.
And rules.
Well, after that, and again, the great job that you did, because one of the things. When you were running the NITCP, is that what it was called? Alphabet Soup.
Yes.
Now it's changed to the
NPP, is it?
with baked beans and spaghetti.
That's it.
But I remember you did such a great job where Murray wants to coach, so he would bring everybody from Bundaberg down, maybe even Gladstone down here to run camps and stuff. Or this was even on the weekends from the Sunshine Coast. I said, mate, you go to them. Right, I know that we've selected in their scholarship the kids that got into that stuff, but if you go to them, you're helping the coaches, right? They can watch you deliver and everything else, and you're going to see some talent, right? You can earmark some talent. Not that he did a great job administratively, because one of the problems that occurred at the time, that we didn't do any tracking of who's been in our program, where have they gone from now.
Yeah.
And that was a complaint about the Institute at the time, right? Let's go back and go through everybody that's been here that's now playing professionally or overseas or in the NBA. But that's one thing that Murray did a very good job of, the tracking, right? So we know what's up.
Well, how else can you determine how well you're doing if you don't
track it?
Yeah.
It was just a little oversight that when they started that, I imagine when Dr. Adrian Hurley and Pat, when they started this, how long is this going to go?
Yeah.
They didn't know that this was going to be going on for 40 plus 50 years.
They're pioneers, like the Institute in those early days, what that has become for Australian sport. But it's been good for basketball.
So when you were at the Toot, that was Pat as the head coach.
Pat, and another man that he absolutely changed my life. Like the one thing that I do now is I look back at those people. And the Institute wasn't for everyone. And just because you didn't go there didn't mean you made it. but it gave you a good shoe-in, and I'm sure if I didn't go there, there's no way I'm playing NBL.
Yeah.
And the care, that place, so I will tell a story with all those, when we talked earlier about building up to the World Championship 1987 in Bormio, Italy. That we've got all these guys. We've got Shane Hill, Darren Perry, Tony Boniello, Marty Clark, Mark Bradkey,
Nice.
Luke Longley, Vlahoff, Giddy, myself, and we went to war.
Yeah, that's
and Pat's foresight was phenomenal. That team replaced my family.
Right.
It absolutely was that pivotal point I talk about, the dramas I went through as a kid. That whole team, Peter Hill is another
Yep.
one,
Yep.
becomes my family.
Yeah.
And they just took me in, and the bond we formed, and Pat Hunt says it today, I've never had a team that was so fierce and wanted to do everything. Like we get to some place in former Yugoslavia, and sorry, can't train, gym's not open. And we're boosting Boniello up through the air conditioning ducts to break in and train. And Pat's like, what are you doing? We go, we're training. And he's like, okay. So we've broken into the stadium to train. And the battles we had on the court, like if you had a Froling Vlahoff double screen, but there was a method to it, or a Giddy Vlahoff or a Giddy Froling, we would come together shoulder to shoulder and link arms.
Right, scrum.
Yeah, that's
You get through that triple screen.
Yeah, but the people you're talking about there, the way they played basketball was strength. Strength
Yes.
was a big physical.
We came fifth in the world, and the only reason we came fifth was we're in the pool with Yugoslavia and USA. And we had USA. Now you're talking Stacey Augman, Larry Johnson, LeBradford Smith. Like 9 of them went to the NBA, coached by Larry Brown.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
And Larry Brown finishes the game and goes, where do I get me guys like this? We're 2 down with 4 seconds to go, and we run a Froling Vlahoff linked arm double screen, and Stelzer comes off it, Johnny Stelzer. Another fantastic human. Comes off, launches a 3, it bobbles in the ring. We're like, that's in. Pops up. Larry Johnson grabs it without looking, outlets it for Stacey Augman to dunk, and we lose by 4. That's the USA. And we've got skinny Luke Longley, who hasn't quite yet made the NBA. Shane Hill hasn't made the NBA. These guys are definite NBA. And Larry Britton's just like, where do I find that? So we play for 5th, 6th, and we destroy them. It was
But this is, in my opinion, maybe early days of laying the platform for what it was like playing for Australia.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Absolutely. You could see those guys were the future. And when Adrian Hurley selects all those young guys in the Australian team and it caused such a ruckus, I'm like, you can't question that's the way to go.
Yeah.
They're going to be the body of that thing.
But you're talking, Bradkey, Vlahoff, Longley, and my goodness.
Yeah.
That's
and even
the biggest,
Shane with his cockiness and as the shooter, him and Gaze together, they're the scoring part of that thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, and then you got the support crew.
Yeah.
The Boniellos, the Giddies. So that thing ends in Italy, and Warwick breaks out his famous rugby song. So here's a guy, 3 Australian sports he's represented. Warwick Giddy.
Really?
Rugby union, surf lifesaving, and
Well, I didn't know
Get the
about the
hell
surf
outta here.
lifesaving, but I knew he was an extraordinary Didn't our friend Lyndon Briefys represent Australia in rugby union?
No.
I thought you were going to say equine or some sort of thing.
Lyndon played at Bond University rugby.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's not quite representing Australia.
Close.
No.
So
Thank you, Mark.
So Warwick at the end of it breaks out his thing songs, and back in those days we were of age, so we could have a drink.
Yeah,
and he
right.
brings out his magic mix of drink, and as we're doing that in the change room in Bormio, Italy, it hit me, and I just broke down, started crying, and Vlahoff's over going, "What the hell is wrong with this guy?" I'm like, this is the end of my family. This is it. We will never play together again. And I just broke down. And it was just amazing, the guys coming around. And to this day...
You're still close with all those guys?
All of them. All of them. And we have our ins and outs, but they're family to me. And they are actually, they're closer to me than my family.
This is a really good point, mate. And I was thinking of this last night. You probably wonder, does this guy ever sleep? What characteristics do you think are a must to be a good teammate?
It's 100% trust.
Right.
Can I trust you? You know, if you're off cracking the shits about something or not doing the work, and you may not be at the level, like put me and Giddy in there. Me and Giddy weren't the greatest scorers, but if you told us to go to war, we're coming to war.
You're the sort of guys that say, hey, go eat that concrete over there, and you say, oh, okay, how hard do you want me to bite it?
And then you got Vlahoff, who's got the added ability of scoring. You know, if you put three of us together, that might not work. So it's putting the magic together, putting the trust, and then, you know, that person's going to be there for you no matter what. And if you can get that and you lay those foundations out, there's going to be mistakes.
Yeah.
And there's going to be things. So can you correct those mistakes? Is it a continual thing that happens? If it's a continual thing that happens, I think Gorge was a good one for you get rid of the cancer.
Yeah.
So you build your teams on that. If you've got teams that trust you and trust them, and Gorge was magic at that.
Yeah.
Gorge could call you out. But Barry Barnes was great at it.
Yeah.
Barry Barnes was so hot as a coach. He says today he couldn't coach. Like, I remember playing my first ever game in Victoria in the VBA on a Wednesday night against Bendigo for the Spectres. And a guy, I think his name was David Spear for Bendigo.
Yeah.
He's given me one of these karate chops in the throat. And I'm looking at Ray Hunt, the referee, and Bill Milton. I'm all of 17 years old. And I'm looking, they're not looking. Bang, headbutt. And I've just dropped him. Dropped him like a rock. I go, mate, you want to play dirty? I'll play dirty. So Barnesy subs me out. And he looks at Warren Pink. And he says to Warren, did I just see that? Now, Warren was a policeman back then, and he used to pick me up in his police car. There was a great joke to put the lights on through Fitzroy and Collingwood with me in the back. And he goes, yes, I did see that. And so anyway, I get subbed out, and Barry's in my face. There's spit going, there's eyes going, there's things going. I'm just like, okay, so I'm not allowed to headbutt people. Now this guy, and swearing his head off, you this, you that, and you're going, oh. But then the next day, he's dropping a lounge off at my apartment. He's taking me to dinner.
Yeah.
So his love and care, even though he was hot as a coach, his love and care was genuine.
Yeah.
Brian Gorgian, Pat Hunt, those people, they're, like I say, they're the people today I bring up and say, I love you guys.
Yeah.
Because how long have we got left on this earth? And I appreciate them. That's the magic. If you can get that, you can put pressure on the guys, but still keep their respect. If
I
the
think
team
that's
plays
great,
like that,
Kane. That's
it's
succinct,
amazing.
because of the trust, you can count on me.
Mm-hmm.
And not just when we're on the floor, not just at practice. You can count on me that I'll be looking after my diet. I'll be doing my stretching. I'll be in the weight room. You know what I mean? You don't have to.
You're holding each other accountable.
That's the most number one quality.
Well, it's a bit more than that too, because we talk about diet and things, and some guys are different.
Yeah.
There are guys who can play overweight. And then there's Dennis Rodman.
Yeah.
Like you tell me he was following all the rules, but he was the magic in that Chicago team then years. So there are some variances. You've got to adapt to athletes, and you've got to be able to accept it. So it's a learning curve. It's probably why I don't coach in the upper leagues. I didn't feel.
I've said this to you, and I've said this on social media. You should be.
Is insane. Can we talk about Indonesia? Tell us about, because you've had an involvement in that space, and that's a really interesting conversation. So tell me how that started, working over there.
Okay, so many years ago, Mick Downer, when he was with the Perth Wildcats, I'd linked him with Andrew Vlahoff years ago, because Mick and I doing the coaching tours. Yep. Coach K, Spain, Yugoslavia, all that stuff, fantastic. So Andrew really wanted me to go to Perth, and I said, no, get Mickey Downer there. the Indonesian link with Perth, they approached Mick to do a camp, start this thing up. So he started, Andrew jumped in the business side of things, and the next year both of them said, let's get Shane into this.
Yeah.
So I've been doing it now for 13, 14 years. It's basically high school basketball. A media mogul over there, Azrael, he decided he wanted to do something for sport. He went to college in the US, and basketball was the start of it. So every year he brings in 260 kids from around all of the islands in Indonesia. Now you're talking a population of 260 million people and 80 coaches. And we bring them in, we hit them with a camp. We originally based it on the Basketball Australia January camps.
Right.
The guy who runs it wanted to eliminate corruption, getting all the kids who were favourites selected and the best in. And we'd run these camps and select the 12 best boys, 12 best girls, 4 best coaches, and they would get a 3-week trip to the US to go and get developed, playing lower grade schools. But you're talking kids
plus
who've never been off their own island, let alone coming into Surabaya or Jakarta for a mass camp, fully kitted out, and now they've got to go through the process of passports, travel, and
How is the facilities?
The facilities in Surabaya are fantastic. The gentleman there lives there, and he's built these amazing facilities. So the one, they have what they call the DBL Academy, and it's in a high-rise building. The kids live in the buildings around it. They walk in the morning to the academy in the high-rise, go to school in the high-rise, and then go back to the academy and then back home.
Wow.
He's also started kindergarten basketball. So all this is up to high school. So the kindergarten is kids' movement to music, throwing and catching balls, body movement, and it's going crazy. They have a million...
So in that 13 years, have you seen the standard
Absolutely.
increase?
They're growing. The athletes are growing in size, much like all of us. We're starting to see the Rocco Zagarskis. We're starting to get some 6'8", 6'9" Indonesian kids. And you got to remember, Indonesia stretches from India right down to Papua and up into Malaysia. So that you've got all your different types. And Papua, the kids are super athletic. But there's sometimes they can't attend because they're warring with Indonesia, because once Australia let Papua New Guinea go, Papua became a part of Indonesia.
Right.
So we've got a lot of things.
A geography lesson.
This is very good.
Yeah. There's a lot of tools to it. Then there's another year where we were training, and I had about 8 girls collapse, just go down, because it's 80% Muslim. Beautiful people, beautiful food, beautiful country, treat you like royalty. When we go there, we are just treated fantastic. So we're doing this camp, and all the girls are collapsing. I'm like, what's going on?
They're swooning.
They're sweating like hell.
Oh, yeah. Are they wearing the
It's
bonnet?
in Ramadan. They got the bonnet.
no food.
They're not eating or drinking. I go, okay, so why are we running camp during Ramadan?
Yeah.
All right, we fix that problem. That never happens again. Coaches. The coaches are failing the tests. Why? Well, they don't understand the questions. I said, how? They're giving them the questions in English. I'm like, well, that's why they're failing.
So that's their own accreditation, or did you guys?
Well, we've
provide?
had help, and Rob Beveridge has been really big because he's
Right.
linked tough big with Andrew Vlahoff also.
Right.
And so we redo it. We go, write it in Bahasa. We'll give it to you in English. You write it in Bahasa. All of a sudden, the coaches are getting answers correct. So it's been a growth thing. We've really got it to a good stage. We made some changes this year, but the coaches we bring in, he was also bringing in NBA guys at the time, and they would come in as guests. So we had...
That must cost him a peen.
well, when you hear who it is.
Yeah.
So the little guy who was the guy who won the dunk contest, Kryptonite.
Spud Webb.
No, after
Robinson.
Nate Robinson.
That's right.
him.
Palmer.
He came in, he just drank alcohol, went out all night, sat in the skybox. Kids that asked him to dunk wouldn't do a thing.
Mate,
TV cameras came out, he
I
dunked
think
it.
Nate Robinson and producer Stanley, can you check? I think he's very ill.
No, he had a kidney transplant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he wanted nothing to do with the camp.
Really?
But when the cameras came out, bang, get my money, do a few dunks, see you later. The next guy we bring out is White Chocolate.
Oh, shit.
One of my favorite players.
White Chocolate. Now, his name? I don't know.
Williams. Played at Florida. Played with Greg Stoll.
Unbelievable.
Is it? His last name's Williams.
Yeah.
Let's just leave it with White Chocolate.
Google him.
How about
He
it,
is
please,
phenomenal.
fill in producer
Google him. He's fine. Every kid, of course.
Oh, mate.
Jason Williams.
Jason Williams.
Palmer.
I
Don't need you,
saw
Mark.
like one of the pods I was watching, with some of the NBA guys who just finished their career in the last 10 years, and they were talking about White Chocolate, like these were all brothers, and they were going, he is the real deal.
Yeah. He was first class. He joined in everything. Every kid wanted the behind the back elbow pass. Every kid got the behind the back elbow pass. He did autographs, photographs. He was unbelievable. So that sort of died because it all expense and a couple of good, a couple of not so good. And now we've evolved it again and had a really successful this year. But
Okay.
Andrew
So when do you go
Vlahoff,
there? What time do you?
it varies to when courts are available. We've moved it to Jakarta because that's the biggest centre and where most of the business is.
Yeah.
The guys now evolved, Azrael has evolved that into track and field and soccer. The business is just going nuts, which is due to his input and success. And then Andrew Vlahoff, again, as a business partner. Andrew's intelligence is through the roof. And again, another one of the guys that has been a brother to me, and he always brings up, he goes, I remember that night you crying in Italy, and I'll never forget that. So that's that sort of thing, the bond that we have.
Mate,
and the opportunities.
That's a great era. I mean, that group of people you're talking about, for me, I certainly looked up to all
Absolutely.
of it.
Absolutely got my utmost respect.
Can we reverse pivot?
Well, I would like to, because I really like to know if you're comfortable with this, because I just want one last thing on the coaching.
Yeah.
You got your own company, right? That's Shane Froling Enterprises, basketball business, camps, trainings, books.
Yep.
What we would love to do is some of your, if you don't mind, because there's no copyright on your study tour, it's still applicable. The stuff I still, the Barcelona shooting drill, I got that from their study tour.
Okay.
There's a lot of great drill, particularly I found France and Spain. I know that
France,
stuff.
Spain and France.
Yeah.
And then the Spanish system was phenomenal. Barcelona was fantastic.
That's right. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Okay, can we get into now the interesting story? I don't know if we recorded this before, but we said all six, yourself, Jenny, and all four of the kids have gone through the Institute. All have played professionally here in Australia.
Well, the kids are all still playing professionally. Harry on the bubble.
Making a comeback.
Making a
Hopefully-
comeback.
So
Let's
why-
look, can we
that
start
works.
with Harry, because he's gone through the greatest adversity.
So it's fair. We start with the twins.
Girls, Keely
Okay,
and Alicia.
let's do that.
Yeah.
Go ahead, you take the bull by the horns.
Yeah, I just thought I'd interrupt.
So Alicia's at Knox now.
Yes.
And who did she play with? Bendigo? No, Sydney.
She played last year in Townsville,
In Townsville.
but she has played for Bendigo and Canberra in the
Right.
past. Keely has played for Canberra and Melbourne, and then Sydney, then Geelong, and I think I'm now allowed to say she will be back at Sydney this year.
Good. Back reuniting with Guy. Was Guy coach when she was at Sydney the first time?
No, Shane Hill.
Okay, all right. And what about Alicia?
Alicia is back in Townsville this
Okay.
year. Yes.
That's great.
Yeah.
Now,
So, in terms of national, I mean, obviously they're playing in the National League and they're very successful. They put up good numbers. Where are they sitting in the Opal bubble? Like are they on the edge?
Well, Keely is currently in the Opal squad.
Okay.
She's pushing for selection and does very well. Probably one of the proudest moments for us with that was when Lauren Jackson came back.
Yeah.
Lauren made a statement of she was as nervous as heck, and Keely was the first one to come up and grab her and say, "Let's go for coffee, let's hang out, let's."
Yeah.
And Lauren went, you're one of the greatest human beings. You cared for me straight away. Now, this is the greatest women's player of all time, praising Keely, and that's Keely's compassion, seeing and feeling and helping her. And Lauren actually said to us, your daughter's the future. So that was great to hear from Lauren.
Okay.
And then Alicia, with her going through switching from her right hand to left hand, and we had some fights over that.
So what was the cause of that?
So basically, when she went to SMU, she'd fallen a few times, stretched the ligaments in her wrist, had them redone, reattached surgery. And then the coach then at the time decided, because she couldn't train, she did her knee after that, sorry. He decided that because she couldn't run, she should do what they call bear crawls with a sled.
Oh, yeah,
So that ruined the wrist again.
Right.
While she was recovering from a knee injury. So she had more surgery and it didn't work. So she has a real trouble extending her wrist and getting it back in lock.
Steve will tell you that that's called pronation.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So she had trouble with that.
Why would Steve say that? Huh?
Anyway, she had trouble with that, and we would go and work out a lot trying to fix it. And I'm like, you can do this, and we'd have fights and arguments. And then one day she said, I'm switching to my left hand. I said, well, you've got your rocks in your head. That's never going to work. And
it's working.
It's clearly working.
So, mate, she's shooting threes with her opposite hand now.
She's getting better with it, but yes, threes, foul shots, everything.
That's seriously insane.
And she is very limited with this wrist. You see she can't get it back in lock. So when she was shooting, it was almost like a dart throw.
So if she has to go to a right hand for a layup,
She can do that.
yeah.
And will do that.
Right.
But she is, for all purposes, a left-hander, much
was
like
a right-hander.
Sam. Now,
Mate,
there's-
I don't think I've ever heard of anyone that I know changing hands.
and she's stubborn.
I
If
mean,
there's-
there's been people that you could potentially say they were ambidextrous,
Yeah.
right? But I've never seen someone take their perimeter shooting to the other hand. That's insane.
well, there might have been one or two NBA guys who said, watch this, I'm going to shoot this way.
There's a guy called Larry Bird.
being
But now but Larry maybe slightly
Extraordinary,
different.
yes.
Can
So
we,
she's done very well.
Yeah.
So the girls are happy. They're playing well, and women's basketball. Like
Yep.
you're a dad of two boys that are pros, two girls. Women's basketball has just gone so great. I mean, obviously the WNBA headlined by Caitlin Clark,
Yep.
but it's also, yes, she is the big star, but it's identifying other girls in that league that can seriously play. Because I would never have watched as much WNBA since Caitlin, but like that girl Plum, she can seriously play. The Anisku or whatever who plays for Sandy, oh my God, she can play.
Breanna Stewart can play.
Well, it's good to
There's a
see
lot
the
of
girls
big-time
getting
players.
rewarded too. Like they've got to grow their base to be more rewarded, no doubt, but they are starting to get rewarded. But I'm very lucky. Both girls are very intelligent. Keely's a fully qualified physiotherapist and doing her masters. Alicia's done psychology.
Right.
So I got,
How's she gone with you with that?
yeah, well, see, I've got one to fix the body, one to fix the brain, and the boys who've done nothing break me and the girls get to fix me again. So it's a never-ending cycle.
Can we jump straight into what's happened to Harry? I think a lot of our listeners
Will want to know what's
will want to
going on.
know. I mean,
Because, yeah, it's
you know, I obviously have had more time with Sam, who class act. But I've met Harry right on occasion when he's come with Sam, usually when Boy Gorge is in town, a gentleman. And then I spoke to him, I saw him at the opening game 2 years ago at the Wizards with the Galloway twins.
Yeah.
Because I think he played, did he play with Ipswich?
Yes,
So
he did.
let's go through the
He
injury.
signed with Ipswich, but the injury happened.
That's right.
And he went down there but didn't play.
Yeah. So can you explain to the listeners exactly what's happened? What happened and where he is at in his recovery?
So basically, long story short, Harry was out in a club and all the details were very grey for a long time. A lot of the police investigation was held up and kept quiet for 2 years. So we didn't even see the video of him being struck for 2 years.
Wow.
until we saw it in court. And when we saw it in court, we were like, oh, wow. So now all the questions run through your head. And Harry, I believe, in talking to him, and he went through a pretty depressing time. What did I do? Did I do something wrong? He doesn't remember. So anyway, the story comes out, and we're sitting with the police, and they actually have the video in the club. The guy was nowhere near the nightclub. The girlfriend was. There's Sam, Harry, a couple of other boys, Greta, and that on the floor.
This is all in Illawarra,
the
right? In
nightclub.
Wollongong.
They're dancing. Some girl bumps into him, and then another girl comes over and pushes him, and he reaches over and taps her on the head and goes, okay, shorty. Now, we asked the police, is there anything in that? No. The girls leave. They go up the road. I asked, did Harry follow them? No, Harry left 25 minutes later. Bumps into the girls, who then continue to be aggressive. And the whole video...
That was outside.
That was
of the club.
outside, up the street.
So
25
Harry was
minutes
going
later,
home.
Harry was going home.
Yeah.
And you see in the video, Harry's non-aggressive. He's got a bottle of water in his hand. The girl shoves him. The boyfriend comes up to defend the girlfriend, and whack, he goes down. This is where it gets interesting. Harry goes to hospital. Harry is loud and had fun in his basketball career, no doubt. He's said that. But he's dead serious this year and wants to be good. I can't miss the bus. I can't miss the plane. Gets up out of the hospital bed and says, I've got to go. I've got to be with the team. Rips the pulse meter on the finger off, like pulls the cable. He's got that on his finger and a hospital band, and the hospital can't stop 6:11, leaving. Now, all this time, Harry doesn't know what he's doing. All he's got in his mind is, I've got to do the right thing. Heads back to the team. Now, I've spoken to Pero Cameron. He's told me what he saw. He said he saw Harry with the pulse meter. He goes, what's that on your finger? Takes it off. Hospital band.
Pero was coaching a little bit at the Bullets NBA, yeah.
They put him on the bus, get to the airport, and they're asking heaps of questions. Harry doesn't know what's happened. The phone calls start coming in, messages, his girlfriend messages, what's this photo of you in hospital? Another message from Sam, someone saw the guy hit Harry in the head. Harry's going, I think I was punched in the head.
So he was concussed, knocked rotten, right? Knocked out.
He's at the airport in Sydney, ready to fly to Brisbane. And all the people are sitting there. Peter Crawford was telling me, they're going, what's happened? And Harry's sort of passing in and out of consciousness or sleep, as they thought. And a head injury presents as drunk.
Yeah.
Okay. So they're thinking he's drunk. But then he's going, no, I think I was punched in the head. So Peter Crawford, out of everyone, was the only one to say, do you think you should go back to hospital? Seeing he's got a hospital band on, they know he's had the thing.
Yeah.
Harry naturally says no. So they put him now on a plane and fly him to Brisbane.
Holy shit.
The doctors said they don't know how he didn't die.
Because subsequently they found he had bleeding in the brain.
Yes. So we get to hospital, we land in Brisbane. Harry's walking across, Brisbane domestic out of Qantas, walking across crossing. He gets assisted across by the crossing attendant. His girlfriend's on the phone to his mother going, something's wrong with Harry. She's like, get him to hospital. Next thing I get a phone call. We need to operate on your son. We're going to put a 16 centimetre piece of the side of the bone out of his skull. And I'm thinking, doctor's messed up here. He's meaning 16 millimetres.
No.
And we're going to pull his side of his skull off. It's a big bleed. And I'm like, okay, and what if you don't do it? He will die. I'm like, yep, go ahead. I'm like, do it. So put Jenny straight on a plane. Keely comes on a plane, and they do that. Now, for the next 4 days, that was on the Sunday morning they operated. For the next 4 days, people are coming to see him. People like Sobey. And Harry's like, hi Sobey, hi Keely, hi Mum, how you going? 4 days. On the Wednesday, he woke up and he looked at his mother and he's going, what am I doing here? Remembers nothing prior to leaving the club to getting there.
Jesus.
So he's had a lot of negative stuff on the media. Why'd you check out a hospital? He didn't know what he was doing. But his subconscious, he had to be back and do the right thing.
But as most players would think that way, not knowing how serious the head injury is, most players would always try to make sure they're back on the team bus, no matter
absolutely.
what. And we know that how his brain would have worked. I've got to be there.
Yes.
But I can't believe the hospital let him out.
Well, if you want to check out how you're going to stop 6'11", and if you're determined to leave, so, Qantas shouldn't have let him fly. There were coaches, physios that should not have let him fly.
Yeah.
And I think we saw that later with the Tasmanian guy who was put in a car and driven, the guy who got injured later with a head injury, their import, I think it was, and they put him across to Tasmania on the ferry. They wouldn't let him fly. It was a learning from Harry. He's now with the Melbourne Tigers under Andrew Gaze. And I've got relations with Kate Gaze up, and it all starts with my grandmother and Andrew Gaze's grandmother. The cycle, the world is so small, it comes around. And Andrew is loving coaching Harry, from what I understand. So it's
So
good.
Harry had a taste, though. Wasn't he in New Zealand?
He did. He
And
was
then
on a short-term contract. Originally, it was 4 games. I think it stretched out to 8 or 9.
Okay.
But great numbers he was putting up.
The first game, I was just like, holy heck. We were told he should never play basketball again, but he's had all of the tests and everything. They said, no, you can give it a go. Don't have to wear any sort of protection or anything. The skull is healed.
So what did they put here? Titanium?
No, they put his skull back, but it's got plates in it, and they're not actually their star picket things. And you look at him doing recovery with the little physio, and if he fell at any stage, because he had to virtually learn all the walking and that again, he would have absolutely crushed this poor little physio who was about 4 foot nothing. I'm like, honey, you're walking this giant up and down. He falls on you, you are dead. So I guess he's been very patient. Now, understand, he's got the tinnitus, the ringing in the ears. That will likely never go.
No, it doesn't.
It will likely never go. He has had some memory stuff.
As you can see, funny things in my head.
Yes.
And so if I take them off, I have tinnitus, and the only way you can deal with tinnitus is just don't think about it. It becomes what is normal.
I remember Bill Runchy had it, and with his glasses, he had a thing that would settle in it. I don't know what that did. I guess it vibrated.
There's thousands of, cures for tinnitus, but nothing is in the medical world the gold standard for tinnitus is tinnitus.
Well, how does that affect him playing?
He, much like Steve's saying, switches off. You turn it off in your mind. He has had some memory loss, and obviously being out of shape. Can you get 160 kilos back into playing weight? So he's at 128 now, so he's almost caught me. Right. I'm 127. He's almost caught me.
So he's lost 40 kilos.
He is...
Hey, if he wants to lose it real quick, and his hair, tell him to do some chemo. Just 4 rounds.
Well, hopefully we don't get to that yet. And then he's gone, you know what, I'm going to play. There were a couple of people who slapped him into line. So he's great friends with one of our number 2 centres, Will Magnay.
Yep.
Will Magnay and that have given him a slap saying, hey, stop feeling sorry for yourself. And he said that was a real good opener up for him. And the Magnays have been great with him, the whole family. So it's a cycle. Again, you'd look at why did the Sydney Kings do what they do, Wollongong, Southeast Melbourne. It's the family thing again. Yeah. And it's also a trust. The trust.
Yeah, and it's the beauty of the game that we love. Like the 3 of us sitting here from 3 different worlds.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean? Like
me from Hollywood, you from Bundy, the back streets of Bundy. That is Collingwood.
And you have
no tats.
I somehow had my teeth.
Yeah.
Collingwood is the only place in Australia in 1990 when they won the AFL final. They rioted, turned cars upside down, set them on fire, broke hotel windows. It's a great thing to have on your resume, isn't it?
The great AFL wouldn't have any controversy with Collingwood or anything. Anyway, let's not get on the football part.
I will say again, we talk about mates, my Collingwood teammates, the older people above us, and again, you talk about small programs. Tolly Grigoriadis, who sadly passed away last year. First Collingwood player to play for St Kilda in the NBL. He set the trend for all of us. Colin Cadee, Frankie Jones produced out of that thing Grant Cadee, myself, Michael Dooley, my great friend, and his mother virtually became my mother growing up in Fitzroy, little tiny Polish lady, and fed me every day and looked after me. So Michael Dooley was a Darren Lucas with a shot.
Wow.
And his knees stopped him playing. We'd all gone over. So again, that little circle of people on the Collingwood. Now, I remember specifically with the Collingwood boys, some of the older ones being a lot of trouble.
You just forget, don't you, how many people you run into through the game.
Yeah.
Like just the contacts and...
The Giants were tight with them.
Yeah, well, these Collingwood boys were a lot of trouble. And I can remember them going, you don't do what we do, you're too talented. We'll look after all the bad stuff that happens. And they did. So I still visit those guys today, even though they're on the wrong side of the tracks.
Now, who was the captain of that team in '90? I know Lee Matthews coached. The captain of Collingwood. Yeah.
There was a guy who died in a car crash who was fantastic. But Lee Matthews was a coach, you're right. I'm not sure
This
who
guy,
it was.
they were brothers.
Shaw?
Shaw. That's it. Do you remember the first name?
Tony?
How about Tony Shaw? Like Frawls. We don't need a producer when Frawls was in the house.
But anyway, it was, you talk
Imagine
about
if
family.
we had Froles and Foxy in the house at the same time. My God, we would know everything in the whole world.
I could point you to a lot of things. I do recall my brother coming out one time.
Mate, we could talk all day.
Sorry.
That's okay, and we're happy to do, but let's move on to Sam.
Sam.
Would you like to interrupt when we get into a new subject?
That's not called interrupting, that's called guiding.
That's
the podcast.
called pivoting, baby.
Reverse pivot.
Let's get reverse pivot. Let's get Sam now. How's he recovering? Because he had a torn Achilles, right?
Yes.
In the playoffs, having a great year. Was he first team All NBA last year?
NBL. I
NBL,
don't
I'm
know.
sorry.
Second, might suggest. I'm not sure.
I think he was in the second team.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because it was...
I don't look at awards. I just
Well, I think it's a
Tell him to play
good
well.
accolade. Just show his improvement every year has gone up. But how is he recuperating?
he's at home right now. He arrived the day before I left yesterday.
Okay.
And leaves on Tuesday. I get back on Monday. But no, he's walking now, out of the boot, doing some training. Some of that's been posted online, so some light action training. So he's moving well. The Achilles surgery went very, very well.
And what, like with the next season, will he? Like, this is the question you and I are talking about. Does he play or not?
So you hear all the medical information, and they talk about you can be back from Achilles in 6 months. Now, to me, that would be silly. It is recommended 9 to 12. So we will let the medical staff down there, and the guy down there is an ex-NBA guy. He was at Cleveland Cavaliers.
Oh yeah.
And really good.
This is in Wollongong.
At Wollongong, yeah.
Right.
Really good. So he's
Is he the doctor or the orthopod?
the physio, and he's
physio, okay.
built like Hercules. He's always with them. So he's doing a great job with Sam, and they'll gauge it. Technically, he could be back for the finals or the end of the season.
Okay.
Will you risk that? We don't know. You've seen it happen. The Achilles, as Keely being a physio said, I'd rather do my Achilles than my knee, because you're not taking bits from here or there. You're just reattaching
You just sew it
it,
back
stretching
on.
it. And
Yeah.
we've seen it.
I assume
DJ
that whatever
Vasiljevic.
happened with the Aaron Rodgers and the other quarterback, this is NFL now, because he had his and he was back in no time, and they were talking and they were actually demonstrating the new way they attach it, right? And it's reinforced with some other. So there's another Kirk Cousins is another one,
the
an NFL quarterback.
Tend to be USA pros like football and that, because their cycle is small as a career compared to say basketball. So if you have if you do your ACL or your Achilles, they use some synthetic stuff. And and the flip side of that is when it fails catastrophically, but they take that risk because then they can just repair it like normal.
Okay.
But it gets them back on the field, court, faster, but it's a bigger risk.
It's all the support stuff, the cross-stitching they use to do it, and then the recovery, like low blood flow. How do you increase the blood flow through hot, cold, exercise in the pool? The machinery they use, it increases the compression. So all of that stuff.
So tendons have a blood supply
So if
from
we
the
talk
muscle.
about Illawarra, and Albrecht may not be there, Like he may not
There's
be
a
there.
good chance he will not be.
Yeah,
They're hoping to keep him.
So what do they do
and
for
then
a 5?
Sam, not their. Who's their bigs?
They're working on that. They're working on that.
And we were talking the other day. Kell hasn't re-signed,
Yeah,
or hasn't, as far as you know.
Not that I know of, no. Trey Kell hasn't yet. I liken Trey Kell to a Rob Rose.
Good
A Rob Rose.
comparison.
Probably not
As is.
with the heart of Rob Rose yet.
Yeah. Rose sort of would have went a bit harder, like.
When Rob Rose stood on the court, it was business.
Yeah.
When he was off the court, he could come and have an off season with 400 bottles of wine. On the court, nothing but business. And we talk about Peter Crawford. I remember putting, as an assistant coach, I'd put different guys with Rob Rose and he'd yell at him, "You're not working hard enough." And then finally Peter Crawford gets his go and he rips Peter Crawford about 10 times. "When I shoot the ball and you're rebounding, it doesn't hit the floor and you have it back to me in 2 seconds," because we're having these shooting drills and competitions. He goes, "I want to win every damn drill." And Pete was like, "All right, I'm going to hustle because Rob's going to rip my head off if I don't." And
We
it's
came to the
best
conclusion that Rob Rose was the best defender that we've seen in the NBL.
He's outstanding at everything. And here's the thing, I'm a few years younger than Rob and we've become great friends. And I remember the first big thing, I'm watching Rob shoot threes, kicking his legs out, trying to draw that 3-and-1. And he's not doing great. And I said to him one day, I go, "Rob, mate, can you take the ball and give me 60% for this game, hard drive the key, jump stop into that hook shot he's got that no one can block. And then 40% perimeter, the 3. He's looking at me. I said, "Just do it for me this one game." And he drops like 39 points and walks off the court, never says a word. And I'm like, okay. So next game he comes up, he goes, grabs me by the shirt and he goes, "Stat me on that shit." And he goes through the season. Like, now, how are you going to guard Rob Rose? If you're going to drive, he's going to score on you. So now you step off. Now the threes he's shooting uncontested. Yeah. He loses the MVP by 1 point that year.
To Andrew?
I'm not sure who it was, but he lost it by 1.
He had a motor though.
But the respect...
He covered so much ground defensively. He was...
If you bought in with him and Peter Crawford, myself, and then he buys in with you, he was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
So he went from Magic or Titans, what was it, Magic?
Yep.
To Adelaide.
Yes, and then Canberra.
At Canberra, yeah.
Canberra.
But did he finish at Townsville?
No, he went to Cairns after Townsville.
Did he really?
Yes, he did.
Wow.
He went to Cairns after Townsville.
And where is Rob Rose now?
Rob's over in the US, up above LA. Patricia, his lovely wife, runs a wine bar or something. She used to run LAX Qantas Club. Great going through LA then.
Wow.
And Rob manages a restaurant or something.
Oh, wow.
So, again, great people. It was funny. We lived a street apart, Mike Kelly, Rob Rose and myself. So the 3 of us would go on road trips and the kids would all hang out.
About Mike, have you heard that he's got the head coaching job at Shenzhen?
Yes, so he asked me to go to New Zealand with him.
Right.
And I work for council in Townsville, running a big sports area and complex. And it's not a bad job. And again, me moving away from basketball being a hobby rather than a business. But he has told me, yes, he's going to
Shenzhen.
China.
Yeah, that's where Gorgeous was
do very
for
well.
the start of his 12-year hiatus in China. It's good because Mike get a payday.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Get paid now.
Yeah. And Mike's problem has been he's a lovely human being.
Very.
And people take advantage of that. Like, I think that Southeast Melbourne thing where they just tossed him was ordinary.
I do too.
But
I mean, if you didn't know that 5 games previous that he wasn't who you wanted, why wait 5 games and embarrass him professionally?
Yeah. But again, there I talk about great human being and the 5-year cycle. If you survive 5 years, you've done well. Do you choose to do that? I chose not to.
Yeah.
Mike will never stop chasing it. He loves it too much.
Yeah. Well, good on him. And
Yeah.
I know the owner there. This is a great story. So when I arrived and I went to Brian's first game, they were then called Da Long, Leopard.
Right. Yes.
Which is close to Dongguan where I was. So I drive out there. I'm sitting there. First off, smoking is on. The place, you can barely see the court. So everybody's smoking. And I'm watching this inside. And I'm watching this guy sitting at one of the, you know how they have the big dignitary tables and big chairs, and he's chain smoking. And at the end of the first quarter, he lights a grit, walks across the court, and punches Brian's backup point guard in the head.
Sounds like one of our stories.
Who's this guy? Nobody's restraining him. He's the owner. And he was always on gorging about, you're not hitting these guys. Why don't you hit them? Brian's like, because they'll probably hit me back. And I can't run anymore. The whole 2 hour, you're not going 2 hours in the morning and 2 hours in the afternoon. Because what Brian would do was, we'd go 2 hours in the morning, and he had Jake Chacomas and Billy. Well, Billy was with the women. Craig Simpson, and they would get 300, 500 shots up. Then in the afternoon, Brian would set the clock for 60 minutes. He'd do all the breakdown stuff during that morning. If we go hard, we're out of here in 60 minutes. Well, the owner cracked the shits.
Yeah.
They all owe me another 60 minutes every day. Nothing about loading, nothing about tapering, And the other thing that a lot of these guys, there's currently a 7'2" kid playing for PC, for Peter Crawford at Southern Districts. And I told him, I said, Pete, the thing you're going to find, they don't know how to practice. Because what they do know how to do is go through the motions, but never get at game speed. Because they never, well, how long are we going to do this?
Yeah, they just get through the drill.
Yeah, it's a real challenge.
Is it changing at all over there?
Well, it changes when you have CJ there. And, CJ's at Beijing. They finished really strong. And I don't know if their
But
finals
are
are
they
over
still
yet.
training these sort of hours?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, mate. In the preseason, it's 6 days a week. They get Sunday off. 2 sessions a day.
Yeah.
But as long as you're not destroying the athletes, like I talk about junior development,
Yeah.
and I do some young kids on a Friday morning, and I get an hour with them for a week. Now, how are you going to get better in 1 hour a week?
Well, you're simply guiding what they should be doing.
On their own.
And I'm giving them a bit more excellence. And that's all my coaching philosophy. You'll see I demand excellence. And that's where I'm giving the excellence, the education. But now I give them homework. And that was that old QAS, the measurements, the stats.
Yeah.
Those kids now are doing 4 shooting charts a week.
Right.
They're doing 50 push-ups, dips, sit-ups. They're doing extra a week. They're doing other charts of foul shots. And I had a kid shoot 91 out of 100.
You're winning because
It's under 14.
There's too much of kids paying people hundreds of dollars an hour to do fancy shit that doesn't relate. It was interesting listening to Mick talk about this, taking the skills that they're working on and implementing it in the game.
Yeah.
In other words, there's no point me practicing a corner 3 if I'm never going to shoot one.
That's right. And at game speed.
Yeah, at game speed. So, if I'm a big, I'm not going to end it, but I might be a screen and pop at the top of the key where I might
But what
get
about
that
the
shot.
footwork?
Yeah.
The Worthy footwork, the McHale footwork, the Jordan footwork.
Yeah.
So all that stuff is what I hone in on my training, give them homework. Now all their other stuff they're doing adds into it, but I give them that hour of excellence and homework. And you come back, when I've got an under 14 dropping 91 out of 100 foul shots, I'm looking at that and I'm like, this kid's outstanding.
What is with the foul shooting?
It's, and that's why I give them homework. You better shoot me 200 foul shots a week.
It seems like 65-70% is okay now.
I'm surprised because, I'm doing the 10As, not Bs, at Brisbane Grammar School. I got some future great lawyers, engineers, and doctors, but they make free throws. It blew me away in our practice. We were 11 for 14 from the line. I'm always expecting. Well, they must be putting in their time.
You practice.
We always at the academy they get under pressure free throws, 10 every set. That's a 2-hour session. But we have 23
Yep.
in that group. We do a lot of, I only do skill work with
Yes.
them. So we're trying, every term, we got to acquire 2 new offensive moves. So we did those were great ones, McHale's, but Tatum, Westbrook, Doncic, Olajuwon.
Doncic, yep, absolutely.
What's the other one we got? The D Wade. The crossover back,
Yeah.
plant, bring it back to front, and we're big on feet.
Yeah.
Perfect feet on the shot.
The feet, the balance, and unfortunately, watching an NBA player, right? And they can do whatever the fuck they want because they've already done all that work. Their balance is, they do different stuff in the NBA because they can.
Yep.
Because they've already built that foundation when they went through college or high school. And that's what people don't understand, that some of these coaches are training. I watched Steph Curry do something, and you see an under-14 team doing something that Steph Curry would do. Like, why? Why are you doing that?
Even with my thing with, I get these bigs, I'm a centre. When you grow up, you won't be a centre. So they're ball handling. I said, it's terrible.
Yeah.
So now I'm like, you're going to handle the ball.
Yeah.
And it comes from the Sam Froling, Harry Froling, Brock Modem. Those guys
Can bring the ball up the floor.
pitch the ball up the floor.
I'm going to try it, Sam, bring it up. I didn't have a point guard. I remember when Leonard King asked me to do it, he goes, you're going to win it. Now, if had Perro Cameron's son, Flynn,
Yep.
not gone, we would have had a point guard.
Yeah.
But we tried Stoddy, we tried Krause. What's his first? Alex?
Aiden. Aiden Krause.
And he was our guy, but he's not a point guard. A guy that can really penetrate, read. Our best was Sam. So we ran, he came down the floor. We had
he's
Cody
got-
Statman. Boy, his defense hadn't gotten any better today.
Yeah.
Great play, great kid. And again, it's getting the best. Sorry to interrupt.
He said, that's it. I'm not
Tell
doing
us
a
that
fourth.
story. Tell us about the girls, yeah?
So Alicia and Keely were representing North Queensland for the Australian Championships, and Phil Brown was the coach at the AIS at the time. Victoria, of course, is stacked, and he sits on each of them down and says, how do you think you're going to go at the national titles? And Keely and Alicia, just both of them, look at him and go, oh, we're going to win it. And Phil Brown tells me this story. He goes, I looked at them like they were crazy. He goes, how are you going to win? You got you and you.
Yeah.
And that's it.
That's all we need.
And they're like, oh, we'll win it. So they come up here at Brisbane basketball. They're playing it there. And they win the first game. They run into the stands. We told you, Phil, we're going to win this. And so he said every game he waited for them to come down.
they came up.
And every time they go, it's ours. We're going to win it. And so they beat Victoria. They triple team one of the girls, double team one of the others, and it was Vic Country actually. And a girl shot a shot on the buzzer to win it. The girls are both yelling, shoot! And so they've won that. Then they're coming up against South Queensland. Now, South Queensland didn't even rate North Queensland. That's Christy Wallace and co.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, they're hitting up the North coach for the NITP or NPP or whatever it was for video footage. And Jenny's one of the assists. She's like, don't give them anything. Give them nothing. So the girls won the title.
Wow.
They win the grand final. The first person they look for, Phil says,
Phil Brown.
they ran up the stands. They said, we told you we were going to win.
Yeah,
and he's
but-
like, you did.
In my face.
That sounds like a Froling to you?
That is the confidence.
Yeah.
Just the confidence.
Yeah.
Hey, Shane Froling, thank you so much, mate. We're going to tie this into a bow.